I'm Madsen. The purpose of today's video is to talk to you about piano keys. There are two main reasons why I like to use piano keys in my quilting. And so you're probably asking yourself, what the heck are piano keys? So piano keys are just long lines in usually a border. So I'm going to talk to you about 5 different types of piano keys in a series of piano keys videos. But this is the first video, and so I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. That there's 2 main reasons to use piano keys. The first one is it's using a ruler. So if you're nervous about using your quilting and the freehand, a ruler is really safe and it feels really good. It's kind of like connect the dots. And so rulers are really great for that. And then the second reason to use piano keys is when you have a quilt that maybe you made yourself that isn't quite square, or most likely a customer quilt who just didn't quite get it square enough. And if you have a lot of fullness, a piano key is a great way to kind of ease in that extra fullness in borders. So I'm going to tell you my 2 favorite rulers for when I'm making piano keys. I really love this Judy Madsen ruler. In fact, this is the second ruler I've had because I should actually show you the first one. It is broken. It fell 4 times. It's chipped. Anyways, I love this ruler. So this is my next one. This is the 2.0. Anyways, what I like about this one is that I have the grip on here. I also like that it's colored, so if I do have a white background, these lines really show. I do use the lines a lot, and I use them to, especially when you're making the piano keys, you are building one after the other. So we have a really nice view plate here. The only thing I don't like about this one is when I'm using my non-dominant hand, which happens to be my left hand, it's sometimes a little bit awkward in my wrist, and so that's just something that you can kind of play around with. The other one that I really love is this QCR Sidekick ruler by So Kind of Wonderful. And what I like about it, it's a little bit longer than the Judy Madsen one. It's not that much longer, but it's nice and flat, and I do actually like the curve in my hand. It does feel really comfortable on my non-dominant and dominant hand. So if you find that that's something that maybe you struggle with using rulers, I would encourage you to kind of experiment with that. Good. Now, just another tip about using a ruler is that you do need to use a ruler plate on your machine. If you've never seen one of these before, I'm just going to show you quickly. So what happens is this slides on the base of your machine. And so it gives you this really nice flat table to work with. Because if you have it on your machine, this is such a narrow base, it's gonna go tipsy-topsy, right? It's gonna go back and forth. But if you have it nice and flat, then you have that much more of a flat surface to use, and you're gonna have way more success with your ruler work by having the ruler base. And so I'm just gonna actually demonstrate how this is gonna work. So when I do my quilting, I've basted this down, and so I need to establish a nice straight line. So I'm going to establish my line, and then I'm going to quilt it down, and then I'm going to bring it over. Now these are my single piano keys. So you can see they're equally distanced apart, they're single lines, and it just looks awesome. So we have these double lines, and the trick with the double lines is you keep the double lines the same distance, the space between the same distance, the double line, same distance, space in between, same distance, double line, okay? So that's how you achieve the double. And again, you can decide how far, like in the examples I showed before, I have some examples where they're really thin, really close apart, and others that are a little bit further apart. So it's totally your choice and how you decide to do it. So again, I'm going to line up my ruler on the last row that was stitched, and I'm going to come down just from personal experience, if you get distracted and you have to leave what you're doing, it's a good idea to write down what your measurements were. So if you are working on something and you know you're not gonna be able to be on it right away, it is kind of handy just to say, oh yeah, this was, you know, 1 inch, quarter of an inch, and this was 3/4 of an inch on the ruler. So that way you can kind of keep track. Now I'm gonna show you the triple. And so I'm gonna do the same spacing. So I'm gonna line up my existing line here. And now we have our triple. So isn't that like amazing? So you can totally decide how you want to make your quilt look. The next one I'm gonna demonstrate is the staggered. And so for me, I have a hard time being not so even. I like things to be symmetrical. So it's actually good for me to allow my brain to be unsymmetrical. And so that's the staggered. So it's kind of like, I just imagine myself rolling the dice, and I'm rolling the dice and I'm like, oh, 2, oh, 4, and oh, 6. And so I can just imagine myself roll the dice, and then I can just do it all different lengths. And so that's another way that you can really achieve a very unique and interesting look with using piano keys. So if you see here, we just have staggered lines, and some are really close together, some are farther apart. And so depending on the look you're going for, you can have that achieved by doing that. Just to recap, we've got our single lines, and remember, it can be as close or as far apart, but the key is to keep them the same distance in between each other. So we have these double lines, and the trick with the double lines is you keep the double lines the same distance, the space between the same distance, double line, same distance, space in between, same distance, double line, okay? So that's how you achieve the double. Make that your own. And here's a triple. So we're just gonna have 3 lines that are the same spacing, and then we have the equal spacing there. So this last one is staggered lines, and it's like, I just imagine myself rolling the dice, 2, 4, 5, the spacing, and so you can have a really fun, different look as you do the random spacing. So there you have it for your basic piano key. Okay, so that is the very beginning of piano keys. I'm going to have 4 more videos on how to do piano keys. And so I hope you enjoy these videos. I'd love to hear the kinds of things that you want to learn. And so please leave me a message below. Tell me what you liked about this video, what you think you're gonna do next, and for sure, take a picture of what you make and send it to me. You can find me on Instagram at Dara Thomason. I have a website, that's Dara Thomason, and I would absolutely love to see how you're doing in your piano keys.